focused on the human part of ourselves. Isn't that the truth? We are walking in the world and we've got stuff going on, like our experience out of that prison. We're very human, and that's really one of our invitations here in this community, is to be able to navigate the human condition, to work on tools and techniques and ideas and beliefs and ways of being present in the world as a human being, remembering the truth of who we really are. So I started thinking about my experience. So what's the big deal about being a human being? And then having this opportunity to remember the truth of our divinity. Well, you know what? We're the only creatures on the planet that has the capacity to be self-reflective, to even wonder what it's all about to be a human being. That's a great gift. That's a huge, huge gift. And so this week, as I was working with ideas for this talk, I started thinking, wow, I'm getting hammered with human stuff, my own and other people's. Early in the week, my husband mentioned to me that one of the gentlemen that plays poker at our house every single Thursday night for years and years and years, 53-year-old, overly awesome human being, accomplished attorney, wonderful human being, stroked out, catastrophic stroke, still in the hospital. No one knows what the results will be. The human experience, what's it all about? Just like that, this catastrophic stroke. Linda and I went to a memorial this week for a person who had a long life, but it ended. And we sat through that process of that memorial and thinking, wow, this is what happens. My own experience, those of you who are in 12-step, we get in touch with our humanness when we are living that halt. Everybody who's in 12-step probably understands halt. When we get too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired, our humanness takes over and we start forgetting who we are. And we've been really busy with our part-time, which is really not part-time, full-time bail job, and I've been really tired. I've been really tired and very aware of my humanness. And when we're very aware of our humanness, when we don't feel well, when we are aching all over, some of you know what I'm talking about, when we're worried about the fragility of our bodies, of the way we're showing up, we forget that other aspect of our divinity. It sort of gets covered over, we get blocked. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, don't you? Yes. And I love this idea that our author says. He says that we're working with a number of different books this week, but I've primarily worked with Deepak Chopra and with Thomas More, Care of the Soul. The thing is, our human body, this body that we've all been given this time around, is a dynamic process in support of being alive. Think about that, what that looks like in your life. We need this body to house, it is the garden of our soul. We need this holy temple to do the work that we're to do in the world, right? We need that. Everything that goes on with this human body is part of our life energy. It's part of our showing up. And it serves the purpose of moving us forward in our own walk in the world, our unique journey, which includes this soul energy, this brilliancy, as Almas would call it, this brilliancy that we really are. But right now, every single one of us is in a body, in one form or another. And we need to embrace that. We need to remember that. Because when we're scared, and when somebody's threatening us, or something is threatening us, or we're looking at people that we love, and we see that people are passing, or that people are having catastrophic incidents, when we see that, we have a greater invitation to embody our own human journey to the fullest. Our own human journey to the fullest. And this is the only life that we know right now. I love what Thomas More says. He says, the human soul is not meant to be understood. The human soul is not meant to be understood. It's meant to be experienced. And right now, our work is in the world as a human being, and we are experiencing that as a human being. We're experiencing our radiance, we're experiencing our brilliancy, we're experiencing the depth and beauty of our soul as a human being. It's just that simple. And so, we take everything that comes to us in this human walk in the world, and we let that inform us, and we let that be the window into our radiance, into our soul beauty. We let that be the opening, you see. That's what helps us open to the possibility of realizing and remembering the truth of who we really are within whatever is going on. So our opportunity here is to incarnate our divinity. That's what we're all doing. We're living our divinity. We're living our soul beauty. We're living our brilliancy. We're living our radiancy when we remember. And when we're forgetting, we're always invited to come back to center, reconnect, and remember. But you know what? Sometimes we prefer to live in the safety of our human walk. Isn't that the truth? We know what that looks like, and we forget all of the other aspects. This part of us that is this brilliant divinity. So we're invited to say yes to all of it, to our human walk in the world, to be present as a human being with everybody else who's being a human being right now on this planet, and then to say yes to the essence of who we really are, to step aside from those qualities that are not those soul qualities, to step aside from our fear, our judgments, those things that get in the way. I love what Deepak Chopra says. He says, that part of us that knows who we really are, the brilliance, the radiance, the energy of our soul, that part of us possesses all the qualities of the divine. And when we know that, we bring those forward. Those qualities of beauty and truth and strength and love and wisdom and courage and understanding. That's what we bring forth when we're in touch with our divinity. When we're not in touch with our divinity, with our soul qualities, guess what? We bring forth the opposites. We bring forth, sort of that ugly aspect. That, like the lady that told us she was going to arrest us. She forgot in that moment who she was. She forgot her divinity and was acting out of anger, out of fear, out of something else completely than the energy and the brilliance of her soul. I'm guessing that when she sees her grandchildren, or she visits with her own children, or she looks into the eyes of someone that she loves, it's easier for her to bring forth her soul quality. In that environment, it wasn't happening. She was bringing forth the opposite, bringing forth, this sense of fear. So what I know about this is that we all have that potential to bring forth this completeness that our soul qualities reflect. But we don't always remember that about ourselves. Like when we were running into the parking lot, I didn't even realize until Glenda told the story in Eckhart Tolle the other day that I had said, just remember who we are, just remember who we are. That wasn't a conscious, what'll I say now? It wasn't conscious, but there was something about the experience that says, okay, there's got to be something bigger than that. Let's bring forth something bigger than that right now. And so what I know is, you can't go out and seek this quality. We can't work for it. We can't learn it. We cannot learn it. We live it. We live it. We express it. We are it. We are those qualities of the soul. We can't think about it. We can't know about it here. We live it. We live our radiance. We live our brilliancy. We live that link to the infinite that we're aware of, that God energy. We live it in our human walk in the world. Beyond all the concepts of it, beyond owning the soul. I love that. I love that idea. This free energy that we are. We just have to remember. And so our work is to live in that, what Deepak Chopra calls that unbounded soul that exists everywhere, to tap into that, to see it in each other. It took us a while to center ourselves, to reconnect, to get fully present with our own qualities of fear during that experience, so that we could remember who that other person was, that we could remember her pain, that we could remember her brilliance. You see, sometimes we're in that in-between time. It takes us a while to remember, to settle in. I always gauge my own walk in the world by how long it takes me to come back to center. You know what I mean? How long am I off balance? Yeah. So this idea of experiencing, and I didn't know you were going to talk about that today, but I love one of the authors says, we find our soul beauty on the run. Literally. We find our soul beauty on the run, moment to moment, in whatever's going on. This is where our radiance is. This is where our brilliance is. This is where God is. God is everywhere, always, without exception, and we just forget. We're not remembering. So it's a moment by moment experience. You know, you can remember all you want. We go out there thinking we're all prayed up and everything's just going to be fine. And boy, it doesn't take much to knock you into that place where you forget it. Oh my goodness. And so you see this radiance, this brilliance, this possibility, this experience of soul beauty. It's found in the most minute detail of every single day, of every moment of experience. That's where the soul beauty is found. With every decision, with every thought, with every act, with every word. That's where soul beauty is found, and that's where we have an opportunity to express it, or not, or not. That's always a choice. So part of this is allowing it to manifest through us, in us, all around us, and then become that is the attractor field, or the example, like Jesus, the great example, for everybody else. So, the invitation this week, the question is, how willing are you to fully embrace the embodiment of your humanity, and at the same time express the energy of your brilliance, the radiance of your divinity? How ready are you to have essentially a foot in both places and walk that fine line between this fragile humanness that came so much into my awareness the early part of this week when I heard of our friend Peter's stroke, and this opportunity to be present in the world as this incredible, creative, brilliant, radiant, divine soul. Thank you for listening this morning. Thank you for being here. Hope that while you were here this morning, you heard something, you felt something, you saw something that made a difference to you, that made an impact in your life that you can take with you when you leave this place. We're grateful that you chose to be with us.